Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the top 3 questions that I get asked the most from all of you, whether it's from an email or whether it's comments from the videos that I posted in the past. Okay, so are you guys ready? The top 3 questions I get asked the most is number 1, education. So a lot of people ask me about my education background and what I studied in school. Number 2 is certification. If you were to, pursue business analyst and want to learn more about what it is, what kind of certification should I look into, is number 2. And number 3 is my career path. A lot of people have asked me about, what I've done in the past. How can you transition? I'm in this situation. How do I transition into this different type of role, right? So I would say those 3 questions are the most popular questions I get asked many times. And I thought, it would be a great idea for me to answer those questions a little bit more in depth and maybe hopefully give you guys an idea of why I decided to become a business analyst and a little bit more of who I am, because I tend not to share a lot about my personal information. So if you like today's video and would like to continue to see more contents like this, then make sure to hit subscribe button as well as like my videos so that I know that this is something that you guys are interested in seeing in the future. So the top 2 questions that I get asked the most around the topic of education is, what is my educational background? And number 2 is, what degree or specialization should I study in order to become a business analyst? And to give you a brief background of my educational is, I actually studied Bachelor of Commerce. So I think it's also known as business administration in some countries, and also I studied and specialized in OBHR, so Organizational Behavior HR, as well as Management Information System. And now I think the school has rebranded to Business Technology Management, but basically it's the information system part that really helped me in terms of understanding different business processes, how to draw diagrams, how to use Visio, workflows, and how to have basic understanding of network structure. Recommendation is, if you are someone like me who understands more on the business side and wants to be involved from the business end, then I think, studying commerce or business degree is a good fit. And if you can actually study management information system or business technology, something along the line, then I think that would be a really good fit if you are seriously thinking about becoming a business analyst. However, if you are somebody a little bit more technical and you want to possibly become a developer sometime down the road, then I think majoring in computer science can really benefit you in so many different ways. So if you have the technical expertise and the willingness to actually go into the deep end, then I think, getting a degree in computer science is actually a really good idea, especially at a time like this. So that would be my recommendation. And for me, I decided to go into organizational behavior consulting because I actually fell in love with HR first. I've taken many other introduction to business courses like financial accounting, different types of finance courses, as well as marketing courses in the first 2 years of university. And I don't know why, but I think it was that one time I took a course with my favorite professor who was teaching about organizational consulting, and he explained how consultants can actually help manage big projects and how it can have a meaningful impact and long-lasting impact on the organization, processes, as well as people. So when I studied that, when I heard more about that, when I did my case studies, I became more convinced that this is my calling. This is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to know how to get involved, how to become one. So that's why I decided to do more research in different types of consulting roles. And I discovered that, for me, learning something new is very fun. And I thought, having a systems background and having systems knowledge would help me benefit one day. Because if you think about it, even 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of the softwares that we now take for granted for HR modules, like PeopleSoft, Workday, and SAP did not exist, or they were not very user-friendly. So I always knew that HR, big organizations actually require somebody to look after a lot of the employee data, to be able to manage them more efficiently. And so, because I was interested in working within HR department, I thought maybe by having a strong concrete skill set like MIS would really benefit me and my career. And that's why I decided to become sort of like IT within HR, and really manage and become the owner of system changes that are required for any types of HR related changes within an organization. So some examples of type of work that I get involved is paying out performance bonuses to employees, giving people raises depending on what type of employees they are. We have different rules set up for people who are union workers versus regular management professionals. Some of the other projects that I've been involved that I mentioned is post merger and acquisition integration. So making sure that we can onboard people and make sure that we have all the rules set up in the system to integrate them seamlessly. And these are some of the big projects, but there's always maintenance work, there's always defects, and that I need to debug and work with the developer teams to make sure to identify the root cause of the issues and to log them, make sure that we test our release cycle. So then anytime there's a new release of the software that we go in and test things, so then to make sure that there's no newly introduced bugs. So those are the examples of my day-to-day tasks, and some are a little bit more interesting and project driven, and some of them are more of a day-to-day basis. And I actually attend quite a bit of meetings with different types of project teams depending on my workload, and I connect with my business customers quite a lot in order to work on different documents and to make sure that I have a clear understanding. And I also work with development team quite a bit. So that's how I would describe my day. It involves a lot of communication and working with different stakeholders constantly. Okay, so let's move on to question number 2, which is certification. And sometimes I'm afraid to give advice on certification because I am not too familiar with all the different types of certifications that are out there. But I've been advising people that, even though you should be doing your own research, the one that I am most familiar with is called Certified Business Analysis Professional, so also called CBAP, by International Institute of Business Analysis. So most of my contents from my video are actually from CBAP as well. So I do my own research to validate and make sure that I am sharing the right knowledge with you guys. So because of that reason, I would highly recommend CBAP because I think it's the most relevant and closest to my line of work. But I know that there are many other certifications that are out there. So the best way for you to know whether or not, this certification is for you is to do your research and actually, try to identify, if you want to become a data analyst, what are some of your dream company's job descriptions say, because sometimes in your job descriptions, it says preferred CBAP or preferred green belt or, whatever the certifications are. Like a lot of the companies specify if there's any specific certification that they're looking for, they would include it in job description. So if I were you, I would do that before shelling out a lot of money, investing, and getting a certification. Just make sure that, it's actually relevant in the industry and specific job that you want to go into. So let's say, for example, you were looking into different types of business analyst job postings, and you notice that, out of 10 companies that, 5 or 6 of them says prefers CBAP. then you know that this is the right certification for the type of work that you want to do, right? So this is one quick way for you to validate whether or not you should pursue a certain certification. It's definitely not a requirement. So my recommendation is do your research and make sure that the type of jobs that you want to apply for actually require certification. And if not, then, you know, it's not the end of the world. But I think what's even more important is for you guys to always be in the mindset of learning and growing. So just because you have a certification doesn't really necessarily mean that you know everything, right? So as long as you have that growth mindset, I don't think certification is a must, but it actually really depends on the organization that you want to work for. So please do keep that in mind. So topic number 3, which is about my background and my career path, I just wanted to explain how I was able to become a business analyst, because a lot of you asked me questions like, what did I do before? You know, do I have to work at software companies? Because I've mentioned working at a software company before. And the answer is no. I think everybody's journey is different, but when you want to make a transition or pivot your career, you actually have to assess where you are right now. So for me, my starting point, I thought I wanted to go into HR. Like I thought I was going to become an HR advisor. One day I thought I was going to be like a HR consultant. But, you know, things change, dreams change, people change. And I quickly realized that, you know, rather than working on specific tasks that are related to HR, I really enjoy the system side of things. So please do keep in mind that, you know, even though you think you want this type of role or this type of career today, does not mean you're going to change your mind later on. And exact same thing happened with me. So as I mentioned before, I worked in HR, training and development, thinking that that's the path that I wanted to pursue. And I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to work with an amazing team of supporting managers and supervisors who really gave me a lot of insight as to, you know, what it's like to work in HR. And later on, I actually decided that I wanted to learn more technical skill sets. So I decided to work for a software company. And it wasn't because, oh, I wanted to become a business analyst. It was only because I wanted to augment and really strengthen my technical skill sets. And I thought, you know, this sounds like a great learning opportunity, even though, you know, pay wasn't as high as my other job offer. Like I kind of took learning as a priority, and I just really wanted to learn different types of tools and technologies that software companies use, right? So that's why I became a software implementation consultant. And I actually had to travel quite a bit for work, and then it was very daunting and it was very bad for my health. So after doing it for a couple of years, I realized that I wanted to find a role that doesn't require as much traveling. So after working at a software company for a couple of years, I had a couple different paths that I could have taken, right? So I thought of becoming a project manager, going into more project side. I thought about going into product management to become more familiar with different types of products within software industry. I also thought of becoming a consultant because a lot of my friends ended up working for big consulting companies because of the years of experience that they had. So I thought about that, but I really didn't want to travel anymore because at that point I was really exhausted from all the traveling that I was doing. I was probably gone 2 or 3 weeks out of a month. So anywhere from 50 to 75% of the time I was traveling, and I was on the road doing product demonstrations, working with product managers, or implementing or training customers. So that's what I did for almost 3 years, and I was at a breaking point, and I knew that I needed a change. And after thinking about all my options and trying to, you know, really understand what it is that I wanted, I decided that I wanted to become an internal business analyst at a big company that would require my service, which is, a systems analyst, but within HR function. And luckily, that's exactly what I was able to find and land. And ever since then, I've been very happy, very fortunate for the type of, projects and work that I've been involved. And even though I am really happy in my current role, I cannot guarantee you that this is something that I'll be doing for the rest of my life. I can see myself trying something different in the next couple of years, like who knows, right? So I just want to leave you with one thought, which is sometimes you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to figure out your whole career or your whole life ahead of you. And I know that there's so much uncertainty right now because of COVID situation. And I know that a lot of you have reached out to me and said you're freaking out and you're worried because of, potential recession as a result of COVID. And, that could mean that, companies won't be hiring as many people. There's going to be a hiring freeze. If I were in your shoes, I think I would be freaking out. I would be just as scared as you are. And it's okay to feel that way. I totally understand that. But I think we have to shift our mindset a little bit and try to focus on the things that you can actually have control over, because you don't have control over COVID. I don't have control over COVID, right? We should not focus so much of our energy worrying about something that we don't have any influence over, right? So this would be the perfect time for you to do more research and figure out what are the specific, BA roles that you want to apply for. This would be the perfect time for you to reach out to somebody and ask for, coffee or, ask for a virtual meeting. So then you get to understand, what exactly it is that they're doing. Or if they work for your dream company, to, start building those relationships, whether it's quick 15-minute coffee meeting. I actually had a couple people reach out to me recently because they wanted to learn more about, how to become a business analyst. They wanted to learn more about, my journey, my career path. And that really inspired me because they're actually taking steps, even in, difficult times. They're still taking ownership of their own career and they're making the best out of it. And they're, trying their best to prepare for the next steps. So yeah, maybe now is the time for you to revamp your resume. Maybe now is a time for you to start making those connections. So maybe in 6 months down the road that you're going to be able to ask for referral, right? From that person that you're trying to connect with. I know that sometimes when things are difficult, it's easy to just focus on the negative and think about what ifs, right? What if this happens? What if this doesn't work out? But I will also want to encourage you to think about all the things that you can do at this point and just keep on moving forward. Because if you would have asked me, 6 years ago, if I were going to be sharing my journey as a business analyst in front of, hundreds of people on YouTube, I would have said, no, that would never happen. I would never sign up to do something like that, right? But things change. And I think that's the beauty of it. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, and it's okay. And for me, I am excited to share my journey with you because I don't know how long I'm going to be in this role. I don't know what my next career move is going to be, but I am looking at different directions, right? I'm looking at different options. I'm trying to see what my next career goals are going to be. So I'm pretty excited to share this journey with you guys. And I hope this video helped you in some way, because for me, creating a video like this is way more vulnerable and way more harder than just sharing a tip on how to give estimates or sharing a tip on how to draw a diagram, right? For me, opening up to you and sharing personal things and my views and, what I've done is a lot more difficult. But I thought there would be some values in doing that because so many of you have been asking questions about these topics. So I just wanted to say thank you. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content on the top 3 questions I get asked the most. And I hope that provided more insight as to how I think, who I am and how I became a business analyst, because so many of you were asking similar questions. I thought it would be great to have a short video that can address all of those questions at once. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!